Hi there, welcome to Pitchside. Thank you so much for always checking out our content. And thank you so much for giving us feedback and telling us your opinion about everything that we put out on the channel. We do appreciate the love and support. Like I keep saying, every episode that I get started on, I request you guys to please subscribe. It takes you half a second. All you have to do is hit the subscription button, subscribe with Picture Tabu on Pitchside, and we definitely get going. As you all know, Pitchside is in Kigali, and we're catching up with a number of very, very influential and important people in Rwandan football to discuss one or two things here and there with what is happening. And on set today, I have a brother who, of course, has always welcomed me in Kigali, and co-manager Pitchside, Kigali branch. Yes, I should introduce him that way. Athan Tashobya, happy to have you again on Pitchside. And I'm grateful that, you take time to come through and we have a very, very exciting discussion.
Surprising. First of all, thank you for having me. I get to discuss football, deep football.
Yes.
When you're in Kigali.
When I'm not here, you don't.
When I'm not here, I'm just a commentator on social media and just post a few comments. Of course, I watch football every single day. I don't miss a game of football when it's played in areas where I can easily reach.
Yep.
But I try to stick to my niche of current affairs and let the football sport journalists do what they can do. But I love football. I analyze it. I travel for football. I breathe football. Not just football, by the way. Sports. Basketball, you'll find me at the big arena. Anyway, I'm not here to quick wakalango. Yeah, let's do that. Thank you for having me, man.
All right. There's just too much for me to catch up on with Rwandan football. But for starters, I had to drag Athan out of his bed because of what transpired in Kigali. As you all know, we've been sharing those updates on Pitchside. To let you know, APR, won the 1000 Hills Derby by 3-0, convincingly dispatching Rayon Sport at the Amahoro Stadium. First derby that I watched and saw goals. The previous one that I watched about 4 months ago, ended goalless. But Ronald Ssekiganda, one of the scorers, Hakim Chwanuka getting involved in one of the goals. Before you get to them, your feeling of winning the derby. I know it's huge, but you can put it in context.
Look, we've been waiting for goals to come. I think the last derby that we saw goals in were, I think it was the Peace Cup final, where APR won. But for the league in itself, we haven't seen goals coming easily. I think you were here last year.
Yeah, it was.
Was it last year? Or,
about 4 months ago.
About 4 months ago. It was the second game of a second round game. And to see APR humble the noisy neighbors 3-0. The most exciting part is, of course, the Ugandan element in it. Ssekiganda bossing the midfield. He was very calm. When he was coming in, they nicknamed him the tall Ngolo Kante, and he has moved to becoming the Busquets. And he's growing. He's in confidence. I think last season, Hakim didn't start off well, but he's fitting so perfectly into the system of the new coach, with using his pace correctly and the understanding of the game and his delivery. So it's amazing to see goals coming through, but also seeing the derby being a derby itself. I think APR fans left Amahoro Stadium yesterday wanting more of it, and hopefully, by the way, they are likely to play the Super Cup finals. They didn't play that because of CAF commitments between both teams. So we're likely to see another derby in the Super Cup very soon.
Oh, very soon.
Yeah.
What has the reception been like in Kigali and that Ugandan connection that APR has with Ugandan players? Because it's not mean fit for a club to have 3 players from one country featuring and probably them doing their best. But away from the pitch, what is the perspective? How have the APR fans received these players?
I think Rwandan fans see Ugandan players as one of their own, and it goes way back in history, especially for APR. We know legends who have donned the APR jersey and have delivered. I remember Kaizi, not just in APR but also in Royal Sports. So they're more like brothers from the north. They don't see them as people from another nation or another capital. They just see them from, people who are coming either from like Musanze or just up in Gatuna in the north. And they understand the game, they understand the environment. It's more like home. They don't get to suffer homesickness and all that. And when they are here, they deliver. And without being biased or something, most people will tell you that Ugandan players are most disciplined foreign players when you have them in your squad, and that shows with the leadership of Omedi, the the humility of Hakim and Ssekiganda. They're just here to work and deliver, and you can see that every time. When they're not training, they're in their apartments, chilling, resting, and making sure that they have the energy to do the job that brought him in. So brought them in. So it's very easy for them to fit into the Rwandan football.
And to be welcomed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, at some point,
Considering, of course, what their four brothers did in the Rwandan football, then so many names you can, Bagoye, Kasude, Kaizi, all these guys. I can. It's the
list is long.
very long, and there are so many other Ugandan players who are actually here. The Okwis, the dancing Rasta. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I hope he's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, as just going to add that during the game at Amahoro, the fans actually were chanting Sechiganda's name at some point, and you felt, if you could see Sechiganda's face, he was lit up, he was
Yeah.
excited. At some point, he also, told them to keep cheering on and stuff like that, which shows you
boasted
that
again.
he
boasted.
he put up a top performance right there. Anyways, maybe as a conclusion on APR, huge win. But what does the season look like now? Is it done and dusted? Are you waiting for another derby win, or do you think this is now the start of many wins for the club?
Look, both teams, APR and Real Sport, they have not had the brightest of the start of the season. Real Sport has tried to deliver. They are, of course, ahead. They're second on the table. APR has had 2 games in hand, has 2 games in hand. They're, I think, number 5 or number 4 because of CAF commitments as well. They APR got eliminated in CAF Champions League. Ryan Sports were eliminated in Confederation Cup. The spirit in the team, dropped a little bit. I think everyone was saying that the derby is literally the beginning of the season for both teams. Ryan Sport has had, according to media reports, they're having internal issues with the leadership. APR, I think it's just, being eliminated on the third time asking by the champions, Pyramids, 3 times in a row. So it becomes a bit tough for them. They've also had a few players being suspended, and who came back and one scored, another one was partnering with Ssekiganda in the midfield and delivered a good game. It's the best game we've seen of APR in a long, long time. And I think it's a beginning of the season for both teams. Unfortunately, it's not the right beginning for Ryan Sports, but I think the derby yesterday, could offer a new beginning for APR in terms of conquering the league again and see if they can regain secure the title 7th time
In a row?
in a row.
That's huge.
And go ahead and probably build something in the CAF competitions.
The CAF competitions.
Yeah.
Okay, we've managed to talk about APR and how big that result was in the 1000 Hills Derby, against their arch rivals Rayon Sport. Let's move on to a couple of talking points in Rwandan football. First of all, I've managed to take a glimpse of the new hotel
Yeah.
that the government of Forever has set up for national teams. And I
Yeah.
must say, that's a commendable job from.
It's actually, I'm told it's they set it up. It's funds from FIFA.
Funds from FIFA.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Because I think before construction started, the emphasis was reducing on the costs of the
National
team,
teams.
where they put up in hotels and stuff like that. My point being that the under 17 are preparing for the zonal qualifiers.
Yeah.
Where, of course, Uganda is also going to participate in, and all. This is the route to the next under 17 World Cup.
Yeah.
Where Uganda is playing.
I know.
FYI, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Just so you know, we drew with Chile in our previous game. Of course, lost the first one to Canada. How are preparations going, and how do you see this under 17 team? Just how far can they go for Rwanda?
Let's first go to
The
Qatar.
hotel.
To Qatar.
Oh, to Qatar?
Yeah, I'm so happy that Uganda is getting results in there. I think Uganda also getting the first ever World Cup goals.
Yeah.
They are coming through. I'm so happy
now
for
2
the
goals.
boys. 2 goals now. Fantastic stuff. The Canadian game, for your own information,
Yeah.
it was actually Rwanda somehow involved against Uganda.
Yes.
Because the number 5 shot of Canada is Rwandan.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is
Josh Neziriyayo is Rwandan, and he's been scouted so much by. But I mean, the family is so much involved here. So there was more of that Uganda Rwanda thing. But we were rooting for our neighbors, and it ended in such a I think heartbreaking loss in the dying minutes. Anyway, yeah, like you mentioned, Rwanda in 2011 was in the same place where Uganda is. They played the World Cup in Mexico.
That's that squad.
Yeah.
Andrew Butera,
TV
Charles
Ngana. There were so many. Emily Baisenge, Foster. There were so many guys who have gone on to have their successful professional careers in their own right. But since then, there's been a drop in the development of Rwandan football, especially from the underage. I think the government and the federation and the Ministry of Sports went back on the drawing board, and they realized that, look, there's no shortcut to these things. You just have to, prepare these kids from the word go. And I think that's what they are trying to do currently. You mentioned the hotel. The first occupants of that hotel, the Ferwafa Hotel, that was built with the funds, some funds, a bigger portion of the funds from FIFA. The first occupants being the under-17 team that is preparing for Sekafa zonal qualifiers for the AFCON, which of course leads to the World Cup eventually. They've been in that hotel for the past 2 weeks, and they're playing a lot of friendlies. There are about 5-6 kids who have come from abroad who have joined the camp. They've been winning most of their preparation games. We're hoping that with this time, this is the first time in a long time that the under-17 team has been in the camp for more than 2 weeks, usually leading to such tournaments. So we're hoping for good results. The kids are prepared. They were well selected. There are no excuses. If they don't qualify, it will just be football being football, really. But at least you cannot blame the federation and the leadership for not trying to put a team together ahead of time. And we're looking forward to glory days coming back into the Rwandan football, starting with the under-17 team and hopefully feeding into the senior team.
All right. The setup, is it headed by a local coach?
Yes, the setup is headed. The entire backroom staff is the local coach, who are really doing good. One is, I think, is the head coach of a team that finished among two. The head coach and the assistant is among the head coaches of the teams that finished among the fourth and third in the top league. Chirasa and another guy who's the former coach of Musanze. They are very good with nurturing young players, and we hope to see some level of success.
All right. We definitely, as East Africa, wish Rwanda all the best. I mean, I'm on Rwandan soil, so surely I should be able to be fair and say that.
Hopefully, Rwanda wins, Uganda becomes second. But anyway, what we want is, I think we missed the 2004 Rwanda Amavubi, the 2000 through from 2004 all the way to 2011, how Rwandan football was shining with either in the league or even the national team. And Rwanda was such a. I think they gave you headache.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The team was good, and I must mention, even under Jonathan McKinstry,
Yeah.
the Rwandan team was good. The
Very
Chan
good.
tournament that
The
was
Chan
hosted here,
tournament, yeah.
Anes Sugira, Emery Bayisenge, Tuisenge, I think, was also in that team. For
Yeah.
mistaken.
He was the captain.
He was the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a solid team. So, anyways, there you go. That's the talk about the under-17 Rwandan under-17 team that is preparing for the upcoming zonal qualifiers as the path to the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Under-17 World Cup, gets underway. So there's probably the most interesting topic in Rwandan football, Athan Tashobya. That has to do with the Rwanda Premier League accepting 2 foreign clubs
Yeah.
to come and participate
Yeah.
in the Rwanda Premier League and also receive trophies and medals. It has gotten so many people perplexed. I'm here seated wondering, how did this come about? How far can it go? Because we know that the two teams we're talking about went to Mauritania and did the same thing, I think, last season because of Sudan and the wars that are ongoing. It is hard for the two teams to actually play in their league at home. So Al Hilal and El Merreikh are going to be part of the Rwanda Premier League. That has been passed. But for the uninitiated, please take us through what happened for these two Sudanese clubs to join the Rwanda Premier League.
So, look, last season they were in Mauritania. I think Al Hilal wins the league in terms of topping the league. They were given a trophy, but they had to go back to I think Sudan to play playoffs to consider CAF representatives of the nation, Sudan. Sudan is going through tough times currently because of the conflicts that is going on there. I think even before they went to Mauritania, there were reports that they would consider Rwanda. Why Rwanda? Rwanda is, I think, closer to home, but there are so many Sudanese refugees and who are here. There's a huge community of Sudanese that is here. There's a school that's actually relocated, the University of Medical Science that relocated the entire faculty, school that moved here. Thousands of kids in this, not far from here, by the way, where we are. Considering that, but also considering the relationship between Rwanda and Sudan, considering the facilities that are here, but also I also think Rwanda benefits a lot from having these two teams that are very historic in their own capacities. They've been there since some 1902, hundreds of years of experience and all that. And they made the request and they were approved by CAF and FIFA. And I think both teams, initially there were 3, including Al Ahly Wydamidan, but that one pulled out I think at a few days ago. But we have Al Merreikh and Al Hilal already in the city. Al Merreikh actually held their summer camp here in Kigali. So the facilities, the community around it, the fan base keeps them rooted to the home culture. And so I think it was easy for them to consider coming here because I know for sure the authorities here made it easy for them.
Maybe it made it easy for them.
Yeah.
The $1 million question now is, how is this going to work? Are they going to be crowned champions if they finish top of the table?
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons involved here?
So I'm told from the sources that once one of the two Sudanese teams tops the league at the end of the season, they will be handed a trophy. But there are going to be 2 trophies.
Okay.
So the one trophy will be handed should Sudanese team tops the league. They will be handed a trophy, and another one is the second best uh,
Home team.
home team. Now, who will win the trophy and the cash prize as well. So that's what we understand. But also, I got to speak to the head coach of El Malik. We were together in the stands on the derby, and he told me, who's actually a former coach of APR Dalco, he told me that after the season they will be going back to play playoffs like it was last season. So it is more of keeping them in the game because
Active.
Al Hilal also will be hosting the CAF Champions League fixtures in Rwanda at the Mahoro Stadium. We're looking forward to having CAF Champions League games coming back to Kigali in a long, long
I
time.
mean, looking forward to
Yeah,
watching Dennis Onyango.
yes,
Because
because
Al Hilal is in the same group with Sundowns.
Sundowns and the SMRG, I think.
Yes.
I think that will be the first game. Yeah, we're looking forward to having hosting Sundowns. It's gonna be a difficult one because I love Onyango. So, but it's Al Hilal feels like a home team, so it's gonna be very difficult for me. They don't have the right colors. I'm not a fan of blue.
You can't be.
But we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, that's what we understand that there are already negotiations for TV rights to push the images back to Sudan to make sure that these teams, whenever they are playing, the people back home are watching them. Um, so it's going to be a huge thing. I think it is going to also export Rwandan football. Authorities are saying that this is not just about hosting. These teams are offering being hosts, but also marketing the Rwandan football and the facilities to the bigger African market. So it's going to be an interesting thing. We're looking forward to what these teams are bringing to the local football.
My question, my other question now would be when this announcement was made
Yeah.
and Farefwa was involved in announcing it, what was the reaction from the general public, and how did the football FA handle this whole situation to make sure that it is received positively?
I think Rwanda has, because of the what has been happening in the recent past, with so many games coming to Rwanda, be it in basketball, handball, and all these teams, but also so many African countries are hosting their national team games at Amahoro Stadium. It sort of made it easy. Ethiopia had their game here. Zambia has hosted their game here. Zimbabwe, I think. There's so many national teams that have hosted their national team fixtures here. So it made it kind of easy for the community to sort of welcome them and embrace them. But also considering that these teams are actually big in their own capacities, it's sort of, and APR and Ryan Sports not making it to the CAF competitions, group stages in a long time.
There's
People
some
are
sort of solace.
Yeah, people are seeing it as a way of let's benchmark. We have these teams, you know, until I don't know. There's a saying in Kinyarwanda ngo akanyoni katagurutse ntabwo kameza ntabwo kamenya aho bweze. It's more to say that if a bird doesn't fly
To its destination.
to no to a neighborhood or a certain neighborhood, they will never know where the
Or where it came from,
or
or
where it came
what
from,
type
or
of
where,
bird it is.
sort of experience, go adventure, learn from other people, go benchmark properly. Now you have people that you want to be like who are actually playing in your own league, so it gives you great sense of lesson and learning. That's probably it, you're hoping that by the end of the season you know how best you can qualify for the group stages. So it's more of that. But also, there's been, of course, uh, pushback. People are like, we are already 6 match days into the league. How are they going to play catch up? You're adding us more games into the fixture already, and we don't have much of the resources. And the new FA president, who is just about 60 days in, took it upon himself and said, "Look, I'm going to give each club about 4.5 million 4.5 million Rwandan francs to help you uh, offset some of the costs
Oh,
so that you can actually be good hosts and allow these teams to, to help you get refreshments and probably reserve hotels whenever you travel
money beats Gonzaga.
yeah,
They say.
center
So
where
people
it is.
people kept quiet after
People
that.
are like, okay,
Eh,
let us go.
Probably explains his popularity as
No, he's
the new FA president,
he
because I was following and reading up that he got quite a big majority as he was voted in, and that was going to be my next
no
question.
actually considering this is for the long time, this is the first time we've had an FA president coming from the system of football. Usually, it's someone who well known. Others were either board members of um, certain teams, and somehow they get voted in, and a bit of question marks in the electorate. Who is this? Does he understand football? All this and that. But this is a guy who has been with the IS Kigali for a long, long time and investing in his own money. So he understands football. He loves football, and he has his ways around football communities and leadership, not just here but even in CAF level and FIFA level. So there's a lot of expectations around Mr. Fabrice Shema. He looks like someone who's blending in so well, not just with the football community and the fans and the teams, but also with the leadership, the Minister of Sports. You have that relationship, strike the balance, make sure you play your politics well, make sure you play your other football politics also as well. So he's we expect a lot from him, and he's starting off on a great note, and we hope it's gonna go to continue. Long may it continue indeed.
All right, from where you're seated, do you think Fabrice needs to touch up a few things here and there, especially with the Rwandan Premier League? Do you think there are some things that need to be worked out for the league to be, more competitive, probably more bigger, more exciting? What are some of those things you feel should be on his agenda?
There are two things. One is, I think, which is already doing, was officiating of the games. So many officials have been fined and sanctioned. 2 week suspension, 3 week suspension, 4 week suspension because of poor officiating. That is going to go a long way in ensuring transparency in matches. But also, we need to market these things. People need to start going back to the stadiums. And that goes with the credibility of the game and understanding that some games shouldn't be determined by an official, something like that. It's not something. Sometimes it's not deliberate. These are weaknesses. We even see it in European leagues that some officials are, human error. They're prone to making errors, but they shouldn't look so obvious. Another thing that I think could see the growth of Rwandan football is to ensure that lower division leagues are also supported. Look at South Africa. Look at Super Disc.
Yeah.
Is it under 17?
Yeah, it's more or less under 20.
Under 20.
The South African Reserve League.
Exactly. So we need more of that here because there's a lot of talent, but that lacks infrastructure, that lacks vision, that lacks purpose. And there's a lot of talent as well. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there that doesn't have where to put it, to display their talent, to showcase their talent. And I think, and that's where you get players going into the league in itself and also feeding into the national team. So there's need for the Ministry of Sports, for the federation to invest in that and make sure there is a level of transparency, there's a level of will to actually support them and grow them. So I'm looking at development part, but also I'm looking at professionalizing the league in itself, and that eventually feeds into the national team.
Yeah, I've always wondered, how does the Rwandan League operate with the TV rights? Is there a sponsor that
I know the StarTimes is involved.
and clubs get money?
Yeah, clubs get money through the public broadcaster RBA, which actually set up a sports channel, Magic Sports, and that's where most of the games are aired onto live. But we can do better. Like in Uganda, I think
There's Sanyuka
there's
and
Sanyuka
Fufa TV.
and Fufa TV.
Yeah.
We should have a Ferwafa TV that is available on DSTV, available not just on Star Times, available on DSTV, available on Canal Plus. Because most people who are on pay TV subscription, I don't think most of them are on Star Times.
Oh. Yeah.
So
you're
there's
right.
a lot of because of European football, there's a lot of Canal Plus, there's a lot of DSTV. So take football into their living rooms. Don't
And
force
see how it comes out.
and see how it comes out. Okay,
Make it as available as possible.
Yeah.
As much as available
don't
as
limit
possible.
it on if push Star Times to have that channel on DSTV and Canal Plus. That way, you're marketing. You're not just marketing the channel. You're marketing the sport. You're marketing the league, and you're marketing the players. So we need to market our football.
The game needs to be out there as much as possible.
Absolutely.
All right. Finally, Ethan, I can't fail to ask you about the Amavubi because we've just had 2 campaigns that were really, really electric on the continent. The CAF AFCON 2025, AFCON qualifiers, and then of course the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, and of course the countries in East Africa were coming at each other like a problem.
Yeah.
For Uganda, well, we're at the AFCON 2025 under Paul Put, great shift that the boys put in. Rwanda fell short, and then of course in the World Cup qualifiers as well. Started well. At some point, we were leading that group that had Nigeria and all those big boys. But of course, later on,
So close yet.
yeah,
so
it,
far.
it didn't really happen. What's your take home from the Amavubi and both campaigns and how they performed?
There are glimmers of hope. I think, considering how the boys performed in AFCON qualifiers, coming so close to making it, had the most heartbreaking loss was the one against Libya here.
Yeah.
So we went to Libya and drew. Then they come here, they beat us. Yet we had dominated the entire game. Had we won that game, we would be in AFCON right now. Then we started very well in World Cup qualifiers, and everyone was starting to dream, like, what if it happens? And at some point, we started believing. And then, boom, we lost Benin. And boom.
To Nigeria here.
Nigeria
Victor Osimhen
here.
scoring twice, yeah.
Yet we had just beaten them like 2-3 months ago in their home turf.
Yeah.
In their backyard, 2-1. So it was so heartbreaking, but also considering the number of points we collected either in AFCON qualifiers or even the World Cup qualifiers, there's something that I think it's the biggest point tally that we've collected in World Cup qualifiers. I'm hoping we can build onto that. Coach Amrouche, he seems to be building something good, but he came in at the wrong time, succeeding someone who had sort of promised to do something good, Coach Trosten, but didn't also deliver us to what we all expected, to AFCON. So I don't know if Amrouche has time to build something for his own, because I don't know if Rwanda has that patience, or if he's the right person. I hope he is the right person, because he seems like a guy who has good intentions, especially giving chances to young players. But it's going to be a long one. But I know there are new faces that are coming into the national team, especially foreign-based players who are coming in to join the national team, and with the new leadership that seems very much intentional about taking Rwandan football back to where it belongs, or even better than that. Give us taboo. I've had stories. My a friend of mine says long-nosed sources have told me that probably Chan could come back to Rwanda in about 4 years.
May I
Time.
support Chan coming back here?
And
That would be huge.
And we cannot get there. Rwanda could also bid for, I don't know, under 17 World Cup or something like that. But those reports are not confirmed yet. But we cannot be there when we're not invested in our national teams. I'm hoping that we return back to either AFCON or probably be like another Cape Verde story in the World Cup.
At the World Cup.
Yeah.
All right. This jersey that you are wearing here
Janzi.
is going to Morocco in not so long from now.
Hopefully I'll be there.
Yeah. What's your take on the Cranes? I know you've been, keeping an eye there. Paul Put, do you feel he's putting a shift? And how far do you think the Cranes can go in a group that has Nigeria, Tunisia, and our neighbors, Tanzania?
You have Tunisia, Tanzania, and Nigeria.
Yes.
You guys could easily go into the quarterfinals. Why am I saying you guys? We guys, East Africa.
Yeah, we could easily reach the quarterfinals.
I think if you look at the squad of the Uganda Cranes, most of them are young players, really. They're in the 24, 25.
Rogers Mato,
Alan Okero. These are young players. I feel like Alan Okero has been there for ages, but he's a young boy. I remember when he was here for Sekafa tournament, where KCC dominated everything, with the likes of Kato, Samuel. They were very young kids. Anyways, to say they have energy, they have power, they have the understanding of the game, they have the hustle. But Ugandan football, especially with the Cranes, for some reason, when they get to these bigger stages, I don't know.
They don't
it feels
show up.
like Tutu will say. And I think we need to see more of that.
An extra effort.
An extra effort from the Cranes. Whether it's in Chan, I think they performed better this time around. So we need to see more of that when they get to the continental stage. We need to see Uganda Cranes dominating, playing that. I think if you look at Ugandan football, it is so authentic. It is just one of its own kind. You cannot find it
elsewhere.
And we need to see that at such a big stage. We need to see hunger in the boys. And if they do that, they'll probably get results against their neighbors, Tanzania. And you can easily beat Nigeria.
Man, star-studded Nigeria.
When you have
who are finalists in the last edition.
When you have the will.
I mean, you beat Nigeria in Uyo. Was it in Uyo?
Yeah. We beat Nigeria in Uyo.
Huge result.
Yeah.
Huge result.
We actually came back from 1 goal down to beat them 2-1. So Uganda Cranes can do this.
So it's possible.
You guys can do it. Please, just go there. Make East Africa proud. You guys are younger than most of these squads. And of course, Nigeria, I think most of the squad players who play abroad are quite younger. But Uganda should be able to get a result.
All right, there you go. Uganda, of course, will be representing Rwanda and Kenya, who are going to be watching from far away.
If I make it to Morocco, I'll be in Rabat.
To cheer on the boys. Which side will be in Morocco? So we'll definitely have more of these discussions to actually see how ready Uganda is and other nations at AFCON. But thank you so much, sir.
Anytime, my guy.
For joining me on Pitchside. It's been a very, very exciting and detailed discussion about the happenings in Rwandan football. And as always, like we keep saying, please don't forget to subscribe. Keep it Pitchside. Cheers.